Welcome to Network Interference. I am Shane, and I'm joined by this young lady right here across the table from me.
Hi, I'm Marlowe.
Hi, it's Marlowe. How's it going, Marlowe?
It's going all right. How are you?
I'm doing fantastical.
Love that. I love that word.
It's a good word because that's what I'm feeling right now.
Great.
Fantastical.
So today we're going to be talking about Uncharted since recently the first ever live action film for the Uncharted series came out.
The first live action film, we saw that together recently, and we will be talking about all the games that we've been playing throughout the years since 2007. Wow, that's an old game.
And so if you're unfamiliar with the Uncharted series...
Unfamiliar? I'm not unfamiliar with the series. I just told you, I've been playing it since 2007.
But this
I'm very
isn't
familiar.
just for us. It's not just for us. It's to give our review and to make this accessible for everyone. Uncharted is an action-adventure video game, and it was published by Sony and developed by Naughty Dog. All of the games primarily follow Nathan Drake and all of his companions.
Nathan Drake and all of his companions.
As they search for treasure. So all of the games, you travel pretty much all around the world, just solving puzzles and uncovering mysteries and shooting a bunch of bad guys.
Well, they are all bad, I can tell you.
Most of them are.
They're all of them.
Most.
You're not shooting anyone that's not bad.
Oh, yeah, they won't let you.
Well, that's right. Well, that is why I'm so happy today, because what you described is going to be a fantastical conversation, and I'm very pleased that I'm going to be a part of it.
I'm glad.
I'm glad that I can offer my insight into this particular topic.
Good.
So let's take a break, and when we return, we'll talk about all things Uncharted right here on Network Interference. So stick around. Marlowe, we're talking about Uncharted today. Where do we start? There's so much to talk about.
Well, I think we should start with the primary four main characters. So let's start with Nathan Drake first. All of the games are based around him. He is voiced by Nolan North.
It's an iconic performance. Nathan Drake looks like Nathan Fillion, who was popular on the show Firefly at the time. And in fact, Nathan Fillion has made a film that is a short few scenes, a sequence from an imaginary Uncharted film, and he plays Nathan Drake.
It was really good. He was very comical in it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan Drake's always comical, but comparing the Nathan Fillion Nathan Drake to the new film, there are some big differences. But going back to just Nathan Drake as a character, he is extremely intelligent, and he knows a lot about history and a lot about languages, which I always thought was really impressive about him. Next character, we're going to talk about Victor Sullivan. And
everybody loves Victor Sullivan. Sully.
Yeah, Sully. So Sully is a skilled traveler, and he's pretty much the one who flies the planes and submarines and anything else that's needed to find treasure.
That's right. He's usually the guy that's flying the helicopter or the plane, and he smokes a cigar. He's smoking a cigar all the time. He is a very important character to the overall story of Uncharted.
And we actually have a cat that we named after Sully.
We sure do.
Named Sully, and he's just as gruff.
That's right. Gruff is a good word for Sully. Both Sullys, for sure.
So then we have Elena Fisher.
Elena.
And she's voiced by Emily Rose. So Elena is a journalist who meets Nathan Drake right from the very start of the first game.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
This is spoiler alert.
Yeah, this is all going to be a spoiler alert.
Spoiler alerts throughout the program.
If you're someone who wants to play the games before knowing how they end, then I would suggest moving along and come back later.
That's right.
She is the primary love interest of Nathan Drake, and they eventually marry and have a child together. And she's a really great character. I liked her a lot.
I love Elena. I love her throughout. She's kind of like a Jennifer Aniston Jennifer from Friends.
Okay.
She always reminded me of.
I could say she kind of looks like Jennifer Aniston. I'll give you that.
So I believe if you go back to 2007, their dream cast for a live action Uncharted movie would have been Nathan Fillion and Jennifer Aniston.
That would have been really good, actually.
It sure would have.
So I like Elena because she experienced a lot of growth throughout the series. She'd never killed anyone before. She was just a journalist. And then in the second game, she completely kind of changes and becomes a lot more mature because she's seen a lot of death after the first
I guess
game.
so. She learned how to shoot a gun.
Yes. Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So she has a lot of growth. So that's why I like her a lot. And then the last one is Chloe Fraser, who is voiced by Claudia Black.
Chloe Fraser. Now, that is a character that they used in the movie.
Chloe is an explorer, and she is seen as kind of the exact opposite of Elena personality-wise, which I thought was interesting.
She is a very well-written character in the games. Chloe is a bit of a female version of Nathan Drake and a little bit darker version of Nathan Drake. I love Chloe, and she gets her own game later in the series where you play Chloe Fraser throughout the game.
And it was really good.
Where do we go from here, Marlowe?
Okay, so let's talk about the first game, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, which was released on the PlayStation 3 in 2007.
First of all, it's a third-person shooter as opposed to a first-person shooter.
Yes.
So you see your character running around on these lush jungle landscapes, visiting lost cities, and it's a beautiful game all throughout.
With a decent plot, I'd say.
Yeah, I love the story.
I really like the story of it. They made it seem very movie-like when you played the game.
Definitely a cinematic experience. So you were pretty young when it first came out, Marlowe.
Yes.
And I loved this game. I don't remember how much of the first game you played, but by the second game, you were playing it a little bit.
When I was younger, I know when we played video games together, you would do a lot of the shooting parts and I would do a lot of the climbing.
That's right. We would pass the remote.
Yeah, we passed the remote a lot.
Back and forth, the controller.
I'm pretty sure that this is a game where I didn't do any of the shooting or the hard parts. I just climbed around and solved the puzzles. I like solving the puzzles.
I don't like solving the puzzles. It's not my favorite part. Some people love doing the puzzles. I don't, especially not doing the puzzles for the 10th time, because I have played these games over and over and over, and I have a great time until it comes to the puzzle scenes.
Yeah.
And then I'm always like, another puzzle scene.
They really slow the whole game down, which is not,
Most of the puzzles are pretty easy, but a few of them are a little challenging for my small, feeble brain.
The second game is Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, and it was released on the PlayStation 3 in 2009.
My favorite of all of the games was Uncharted 2. I believe it had the best story.
Me too.
It had the best action scenes. I loved it. It was a great adventure.
Do you remember the little village in it?
The village was great.
I know, just like really cute locations. I really liked the game.
The bad guy was pretty tough and scary. Love that game. I played it over and over and over.
So this game is set 2 years after the first game, and this game is about Chloe.
Throughout the game, you don't know whose side Chloe is on exactly. You don't know if she's Nathan's friend or if she's working with the bad guys. The fact is she is both Nathan's friend and she's working with the bad guys. Kind of as a double agent or something.
And this game also had Elena join in halfway through, and that caused some drama in the plot.
A little bit of a love triangle going on between Elena and Chloe and Nathan. That doesn't last too long, but there is a little bit of tension there because Elena shows up into the plot.
Yeah, and then at the very end, Nathan and Elena officially get back together.
That's
and
right.
then stay together.
They get back together at the end.
Yeah, and this game was pretty cool. I really liked how the first two games had a lot more fantasy and folklore involved in them. So in this game, at the very end, it's all about this stone with the magical power. And there are these monsters.
The first game had monsters in it as well.
Yes.
And the second game had kind of these Sasquatch type creatures that protected the lost city. So yes, both of those first two games had supernatural elements, monsters, creatures, beasts. They dropped that like it never happened by the third game.
Yeah, I wonder why. I really did like the fantasy aspect of it all.
I liked having the creatures. And they never mentioned monsters and creatures again after those first two games. They just pretend that it never really happened. They just don't mention it. There's no scenes where Nathan and Sully are talking about, oh yeah, hey Nate, that was really crazy when we ran into those creatures that kind of looked like salamanders.
They should
looking
have.
for that treasure. And he's like, yeah, Sully, that was really crazy. Talk about a weird day.
Now, moving on to the third game, Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. And that was the last game released on PS3 in 2011. And this game has the antagonist, Catherine Marlowe.
Marlowe.
Yep, sounds familiar. She looks nothing like me, but
she looks nothing like you, and she's a lot meaner than you.
Yeah.
You're not mean at all, but if you were mean, there's no way you could be as mean as her.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
She's evil.
She's just a rich museum owner who caught Nathan Drake early on when you have a flashback and you get to play him as a kid.
This is where you also get to see how Nathan and Sully meet for the first time.
Yes. Nathan was just an orphan at this time, so he didn't really have anywhere else to go, and I think that's why Sully kind of took him under his wing. Thrown away. Yeah,
Marlowe was about to have him killed, and Sully steps in and saves Nathan, and they have been inseparable since, which was a much more interesting origin story than what was presented in the recent Uncharted film.
Yeah.
They blew it. They had the story right there, and they just blew it.
I really liked Uncharted 3 because it had so many different locations, and this is also the one that we played a lot. And so Uncharted 3, when I lived in Hawaii, we would play this all the time as something for us to bond over. And so I got really good at the shooting, which was awesome. You were already good at it.
Well, we had our headsets and we could just chit chat and strategize. It was a lot of fun to play the co-op version of the game. I loved Uncharted 3 almost as much as the first two games. Then we've also got the cool horse riding sequences, which was the first time that you got to ride a horse in an Uncharted game, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always fun when games let you ride around on a bunch of different things.
In the first game, you get to ride and control a jet ski.
Okay.
And in the game with Chloe, Lost Legacy, you get to ride an elephant. So after Uncharted 3, there was a PlayStation Vita game called Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Yep, which was released in 2011.
It is a great little game. It's on the handheld device. And I have played it several times. Love it. It's fun to pick up. And it plays just like a miniature version of the full game. The story is not quite as good, but the voice actors are the same.
So. Oh, that's nice.
So the guy that's playing Nathan Drake and Sully, at least, reprise their roles for the handheld Sony PlayStation Vita device, little handheld console. And the Uncharted Golden Abyss is a fine little game.
Okay, good.
Had a good time with it.
So then in 2016, which is 5 years after the last game was released, this is Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. It was released on on the PlayStation 4.
For Christmas, you got the Uncharted 4 Special Edition PlayStation console.
Yes. Yeah, which is a blue console. It has Nathan Drake's face on it and a blue controller as well. It's really nice.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
So what did you think about that game? That's Uncharted 4.
So Uncharted 4 was definitely the most cinematic game, in my opinion. I mean, there's just a lot of drama in this game. A lot of familial drama, I'd say. Because in this game, Nate's brother Sam shows back up.
Yeah, I like Sam.
Yeah, so you have Sam, and basically Sam returns and wants to go on an adventure. Then Nathan Drake, Sam, and Sully leave and don't tell Elena.
It's a good game. I like the game. Nathan is a bit more mature in this. The story is a bit more mature. It's a long game. Mm-hmm. So, Marlowe, Uncharted 4, that was the end of the story, right? That was the last of the Uncharted adventures.
Well, no more games with Nathan Drake. There is a game with Chloe where you get to play her.
Oh!
Yeah, so it's Uncharted.
I'm acting surprised. As if I've never heard of this game. As if I've never played this game 20 times.
Yeah, this is one of your favorite ones. So, Uncharted The Lost Legacy came out on PlayStation 4 in 2017, and it's a shorter game. It was a lot of fun. I really liked being able to play Chloe. I think she is so funny. And Nadine Ross was also in this, and I thought she was a great character.
Nadine's a good character too.
And then the
she
bad
was
guy,
one of the villains, so now she's joined the good guys, I guess, from this game, Lost Legacy. Fantastic game. It was shorter than the other Uncharted games, which are about 20 hours to play those games. Mm-hmm. And this game was more of an 8 or 10 hour game. I think that there should be more of those 10-hour games in the Uncharted series with different characters, not just Chloe and not just Nathan. Sam, Drake's brother, is in this game, and he is hilarious. He probably elicits some of the biggest laughs in the entire series in that game, The Lost Legacy. Really funny stuff. I believe there's only about 10 chapters in that game. And Sam comes in maybe in the 7th or 8th chapter. He adds a lot of humor when he enters the scene in that game. I highly recommend Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
Don't overlook that game.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed the game. It was faster, less fluff, more action. It is not the worst game of the 6 that we've mentioned. I can think of several gun battles from the Lost Legacy game that are just among the best of the entire series. Gorgeous game. Mm-hmm. One of the most beautiful games in the series as well. We enjoyed playing all of these games. Mm-hmm. We have played them all several times each. It's just one of the great game franchises of all time. Why do you think that's true?
I know that a lot of people really are like diehard fans of this franchise. And I would say that we are some of them. I really like the characters. They're also funny. I really like them. You have a lot of depth from the characters. Then the shooting was fun. I like third-person games more than first-person games, so that was a plus for me. I liked how it was a historical fiction.
Well, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we will discuss this movie that everybody's talking about on Network Interference. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Now, let's talk about the movie.
Now we're gonna talk about the movie. That's my little theme song for the little segue into talking about the movie.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna talk about the movie.
So Uncharted was released very recently in 2022, and it was almost 2 hours long.
And it was also a very, very, very long wait for that movie to come out.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that for a while, and it was all right. But definitely when you hype something hyping up for years and years, you expect it to be a lot better than it is.
Well, I certainly hyped it up in my mind by playing these incredible games that are so cinematic as they are as games. They're some of the best movies I've ever seen. I mean, they're already movies. I mean, good movies. They're already good movies with great acting, great scripts, great dialogue, great story. Can't imagine anyone messing it up with that kind of foundation to work with. And Sony is a movie studio too, so which really makes you wonder. Sony owned the game. Sony owned the rights to the movie, but it's not a great movie. It's not the worst movie in the world.
Uncharted is a franchise that so many people like, so you'd think that it would be really easy to make a movie about it.
Well, it wasn't. And it went through lots of directors, lots of scripts, lots of screenwriters, lots of actors attached to the main roles. You would think after having so many different versions of what this movie could be, that they would pick what they thought was the best version to spend the however many hundreds of millions of dollars on this film to produce it. And what they chose to go with is a head scratcher.
Yeah, I mean, it had some decent parts in it, but it felt like a teeny bop version of Uncharted because all the characters just were very young. All the actors and actresses are great, but for this movie, I was a little disappointed.
All right, so let's talk about the things that didn't go that well on this film. One, the casting. Mark Wahlberg as Sully, that is incorrect. Apparently, he was supposed to play Nathan Drake 100 years ago.
That would have been good. I think it would have been good.
Probably would have been a great Nathan Drake 100 years ago when they first tried to make this movie. And he outgrew the part, apparently. Mm-hmm. Then they just decided to make him a young Sully, and they cast Mr. Everybody Likes Him,
Tom Holland.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks like a teenage Nathan Drake, which is
all right.
I liked Mark Wahlberg in this movie. I thought he did a good job with it.
Me too.
He just was not Sully.
Yeah, I think that what the issue was, like the casting sure had some issues, but all of the actors and actresses, they're great. They're great actors and actresses. It was the writing, I think, that really messed it up because there were things that Sully was saying that he wouldn't say.
Sully and Nathan almost from the beginning had respect and love for each other.
In the games.
Even when Nathan was stealing his wallet, there was a respect that Sully had for Nathan for being such a great pickpocket. Mm-hmm. From the very first game, they are friends, almost like a father-son relationship. Definitely a familial bond that exists between them.
But you have to keep in mind that was because the first game was after years of them already knowing each other.
That's right.
Yeah, we came into this movie them meeting for this first time.
Well, that makes me ask the question, why?
I know. Why they have to do an origin
Why
story.
did we have to hear this story? I think in the games, when they showed the origin, it worked a lot better. But in the movie, they hate each other. They're constantly lying to each other, especially Sully is constantly lying and deceiving.
I get really bored of those types of plots quickly where it's just they're constantly backstabbing each other. I just don't care.
Bickering and backstabbing.
Yeah, like that's something I don't care about.
Backstabbing. In the games, I don't recall a scene from their past or their present where Sully would ever tell a lie to Nathan. And that's something that people love about those two characters and their relationship that the movie just threw away. The movie said, no, we're going to show how they became such great friends. Here's what they forgot to ask. Who's asking for this? Mm-hmm. Nobody clamoring for no Sully. How did Sully meet Nathan? In fact, I'm surprised they did it in the games because I remember in the games, that was the third game. I didn't care.
Really? I liked knowing about it.
I could not have cared less.
Okay.
Don't care.
You just want to shoot some bad guys.
James Bond?
Go to places.
James Bond, where did he get ice cream after school? Guess what? Don't care. Don't care. Don't care.
Okay, well.
Another thing about Uncharted, the video game series, is that there is so much shooting and killing and gunplay in the games. I mean, a lot. That's a big chunk of the action is shooting and murdering people. It's not an R-rated movie. They can't really have a high kill count. In fact, they can't really make that character a serial killer like I guess pretty much Nathan Drake is.
He really is.
He keeps going on adventures, and by the time the adventure's over, there's about 400, literally 400 people dead. And those are 400 families who have lost family members. And most of the people he's killing are just
They're
mercenaries.
just doing their job, yeah.
They're just working for an army. There's like usually a bad guy who's very wealthy, and he has a private army. And these people are just working. Like 98% of the population, they probably hate their job, but they're getting killed by one guy. And then a couple of years later, another game comes out, and he murders another 400 people. And so by the time the fourth game comes out,
he has a lot of blood on his hands.
After 5 minutes of the game, he's got a lot of blood on his hands. But after 2 hours of the cinematic version, he doesn't have much blood on his hands. What are you going to do? I don't have a solution for that one.
Yeah, I mean, they would have had to make the movie R, and it seems like from the casting that they are trying to push this towards younger audiences.
Just by the very choice of trying to make a family-friendly adventure, basically an Indiana Jones for the young movie-going crowd, they have made a watered-down version of a classic game experience. You can't show all the killing. You can't have Tom Holland, the teenage Peter Parker, going around murdering, 150, 200 people in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. For a PG-13 movie, this is kind of what you're going to get.
I know at the end there was some gunplay and some sword fighting. Was there much fist fighting?
No.
There was a little bit, but I can't recall anything major.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of fighting taking place.
They should, if I was a producer, I would have said, okay, you're getting rid of all the cool gunfights. I understand. More fist fights.
Yeah. Which Tom Holland can also
fights.
do.
Sure he can. I would have beefed up the fist fighting.
Yeah.
Another thing is at the heart of Uncharted is this love story between Nathan and Elena. And that love story has been at the heart of Uncharted since the very beginning.
Yeah, it adds a lot of depth to Nathan as a character.
And for the filmmakers to choose not to include Elena and to include Chloe instead was a strange choice. It really ignored a big part of what makes this series so charming. You can't underestimate the love story between Nathan and Elena. My wife loves Elena. So do I believe. So do a lot of people. Not including Elena would be like not including Sully.
Yeah, I was really surprised that Elena wasn't in it.
Something that all the games have in common that the movie did not have is a lost city.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Every game, they're trying to find a lost city, but there's not a lost city in the movie.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
That's the other thing about Uncharted. It's known for these crazy locations that are off the map. They're uncharted. Usually a jungle or an island or a giant forest, abandoned, broken down, ancient places. So it's a watered down version.
Yeah.
And as far as the comedy and drama, it's a watered down version of that. Yeah. It's not as funny as the game. It's not as romantic as the game.
Kind of. They're trying to push a romance between Chloe and Nate. But in my mind, since I already know...
brought Elena back.
Yeah, since Elena is the girl that I'm rooting for, and she wasn't even in that, I didn't really care about the romance.
Yeah, big mistake, Sony. People are rooting for a girl that's not even in your movie. How do you like that? You just spent $200 million making a movie where people are rooting for someone who's not even in the movie. Great.
Yep.
Right.
At the very end, didn't they already set it up for a second movie? They were doing some sort of trickery. It was just to set up that they were going to go on more adventures.
They should have set up that they were going to go on more adventures by making a better movie.
Oh my God.
It wasn't a terrible movie.
It wasn't a terrible movie. It's just, like, if you had never seen an Uncharted movie and you just wanted to watch a random action-adventure movie, or you wanted to watch a random action-adventure movie with your kid, then it's fine. But for someone who played all the Uncharted games, it definitely was, like you said, a watered-down version. So that's why it's kind of hard to give a good rating. It just definitely wasn't Uncharted like how we expected it to be.
No.
Overall, the entire franchise, great franchise.
Great. Fantastical, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, very fantastical.
Well, this show was fantastical as well. I had a pleasurable experience participating in this conversation.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to just sit down and talk about Uncharted. I think it's a great series.
I do too. I love it. Which is your favorite game of the series?
It would be either the third or the fourth one.
Really?
I liked Uncharted 4. I thought it was fun, that there was a lot more climbing around.
I would say my favorite is Uncharted 2. Love that story. Yep. Love the set pieces. Love the action. Great game. And my second favorite game would be The Lost Legacy with Chloe Frazer and Nadine in the lead roles.
I like that one as well. However, all of them are really good.
You know what else I like?
What?
You. My daughter. I like you very much.
You too. Thank you.
And I'd also like to say, see you next time.
See you next time. Network interference.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
So it's Uncharted.
I'm acting surprised, as if I've never played this game.
Yeah, this is one of your favorite ones.
That was really crazy when we ran into those creatures that kind of looked like salamanders.
Talk about a weird day.